East Wing was closed over 50 years ago. We only used part of the rest.
East Wing was closed a long time ago. We only used part of the West. Okay, so this is a Beauty and the Beast style half shut down castle.
Are you expecting someone?
Very convenient for the for the set budget. Hey, hello everybody. It is Joel Sharpton, one half of the Articulate Coven, coming to you again to do a watch of the original Dark Shadows. I am super excited to get into this. I've got some notes because I did a little homework. I had a bunch of people that I recognized in the last episode, and I was like, who are these people? I know who these people are now, so we'll get to them as we go into the episode. But right now, let's start it. Let's see what's happening here in Collinwood.
Collinwood, the great house on top of Widow's Hill, is a dark and frightening place to end a journey.
It'd be a dark and frightening place to start a journey, Victoria. Don't worry about it. Also, Widow's Hill is a great place to build a home, I think. Thank God they didn't make her knock on the door again to start the episode. Okay, so we're going to try to talk about some soap opera tropes as we go through this. One of the tropes that I love is a climax of an episode being redone on the beginning of the next episode. And unlike so many other things that will use that, they don't just replay the footage. Like I remember TV in the 80s used to do that all the time. At the beginning of the next episode, whatever the cliffhanger was, they'd show it again. Soap operas don't do that. They shoot it again. Because it's like, we're moving on. Somebody else is editing it. It's all got to happen day after day after day. But they didn't do that here. They didn't make her knock again, thank God, because the door knock was terrible. Remember, it was like clankety clankety clank.
40 rooms? You must need an awful lot of people to help you take care of it.
We have one man for the heavy work, Miss Winters. We do the rest ourselves.
One man for the heavy work, Miss Winter. The rest we do ourselves. Would she take the letter for like authentication? Like she recognized it as her own letter. She's calling her Miss Winters. I'm not sure what I don't get that. God, I love this music so much though. Like seriously. Oh, and there it is immediately. Okay, so here's a couple of things that I know about Dark Shadows, or think I know about Dark Shadows anyway. I believe that there is a time travel aspect to it. I think that there was a time travel aspect in the 90s remake or reboot, and I am fairly certain there's a time travel aspect in this, as in like an Outlander type thing, where she gets, pulled back in time somehow to play out into her own family's past. I think that happens. The other thing that I know or think I know about this show is I believe there's a vampire in it. Barnabas, someone gave me the correct name. I said Barnaby, I think, in the first episode. Somebody gave me the correct name on YouTube, but how long does it take for Barnabas to come in? Does Barnabas only exist, or at least begin to exist first once we get to our flashbacks, once we get to our past storyline? Let's see. Again, really good opening. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think there is a bit of a reference in the wave things here to From Here to Eternity, which, that's the famous sequence where they're rolling around on the beach and the waves are crashing. Maybe I'm wrong. That cinematography looks like it though. Hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying these, you can get the full reaction videos on our Patreon, which is linked below, and you'll get the videos a week early than they go out on YouTube. Our regular podcast episodes go up day early.
Jeremiah Collins, my great-grandfather.
All right. Jeremiah Collins is the man on the... I was kind of thinking that might be Barnabas. Jeremiah Collins is the patriarch of the family that built the house.
He was a very strong man, Miss Winters. How often I've wished that... The East Wing was closed over 50 years ago. We only used part of the rest. 1 month or 2?
1, thank you.
East Wing was closed a long time ago. We only used part of the West. Okay, so this is a Beauty and the Beast style half shut down castle. Very convenient for the for the set budget.
I asked my brother Roger to come down to meet you. You're to care for his son, too.
What kind of a boy is he?
Uh-oh. She didn't jump in and go, oh, he's a wonderful boy. I think there's going to be something wrong with this fella.
Does he like to play games? Oh, I know when I was 9.
Miss Winters, David is likely to be different from any boy you've ever met. And of course, there's my daughter, Carolyn. You're about the same age. I'm sure you'll get along very well. She's a lovely girl.
Boom, and there's Carolyn, I'm guessing. All right, so we've got a 9-year-old son who's the ward of our main character. We've got the older brother, or I think younger brother maybe. Probably the younger brother, since she seems to be the head of the family. So Roger's the younger brother. We've got the woman in charge here of the Collin family, and she's got a daughter who is also, I'm guessing, probably early 20s. Oh, nice. Oh, and of course, we're at our the Blue Whale. I told you we were going to see this set very often. Okay, nervous fella at the table here, but we got in the background there Burke Devlin. We're going to get to him in a minute whenever he's highlighted. I don't remember that the nervous fella. I don't know that we've met him before. But this swinging blonde has got to be the daughter, right?
They said this joint starts jumping when the kids get here. They sure were right.
All right, here's our man Friday and Burke Devlin. Burke Devlin is played by Mitchell Ryan. Okay, so I recognized him, and it turns out I recognized him from several things, but primarily it was from Grosse Pointe Blank and Liar Liar. That's the two things that you might have seen him in as well, but he's been in a ton of stuff. He was in Hot Shots Part 2 was another one that I think I recognized him in. Lethal Weapon. He was in The Golden Girls as well as a run of one of, I think, Dorothy's boyfriends. So there he is, Burke Devlin. I think this is going to be, and I said this in the last episode, I think this is going to be a running thing that we recognize these actors from different things. I'll do my best to do the homework and find out where. It's all in the report, my boy. It's all in the report. He's a good private dick. When he first came on, I said that he's the fella buying dinosaur eggs from Jurassic Park. That's the kind of way he looked in the bar. He's much more laid back now that the kids have showed up. Okay, I do wonder, this show is so old, I do wonder if there were music rights and this music is changed at all. I know in things like Moonlighting and just recently Homicide, Life on the Streets got added to, I guess it's on Peacock probably. And one of the things that had held those shows up for so long, Northern Exposure is another one. My wife's watching Northern Exposure on Hulu. And one of the things that had held those shows up is that the music rights weren't, written up in perpetuity. They had rights for TV shows for TV showings and for reruns and things like that. Maybe even they had DVD release rights that were included in some of the contracts that were already done, but digital streaming is just not there. And so you have to go back and clear that all and pay them again. And a lot of times they just replace them. I know that has happened in a lot of shows like Dawson's Creek. I think the theme song is different on streaming, which is a travesty. I don't want to wait for this problem to be solved now. My guess is this was just some generic surf rock, though, in this show, but the music budget was probably not high on this soap opera.
I think you've had enough. I think you better go back to your beer. Hey, son, me and my date. Now you get going.
Just cut it out.
Okay, the fellow on the left, our nervous boy at the table. He comes from the wealthy family because he calls her Carolyn, and the guy on the right, is blue collar because he calls her Caroline. I'm telling you, that's the differentiator here that we're supposed to recognize. Oh, he's got all the moves, doesn't he? Oof, that little spin was something.
Full rundown on page 20.
It's all in the report, Mr. Devlin.
Oh, I wish my wife could wiggle like that.
Okay. It was fine that you were leering. I mean, it wasn't fine, but we were dealing with the fact that you were leering, but no more, sir. No, thank you. Come on, where's the Foley on the punch, at least? Okay, now you're going to Foley the punches. Yeah, you tell him, Burke. Give him that evil eye.
Before I take you over my knee and pat you right here in the middle of the dance.
I knew it. I knew he was going to say he was going to whoop her. I knew he was going to say he was going to spank her. Jesus. Okay. Man. If I had a nickel for every time some big guy in the 60s said he was going to spank a woman, I'd have a couple of nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Happened a lot more than twice, obviously. I think a lot about, the famous one, I guess, is probably McClintock, the John Wayne film where he throws Maureen O'Hara over his knee and spanks her. I feel like there's another one where he spanks Maureen O'Hara. Oh, he spanks her in A Quiet Man. That's the one that I actually think about. I don't watch McClintock on a regular seasonal basis, but I do watch A Quiet Man probably, or is it The Quiet Man? I think it's The Quiet Man. The one where he goes to Ireland, back to his homestead. He's a boxer, don't you know? Anyway, I watch that one every St. Patrick's Day, honestly. It's one of my favorite movies. All right, let's see how Bert gets him out of this situation. Boy, she couldn't have swung that purse much harder.
You got her where she belongs. Come back here. I want to talk to you.
When you get her where she belongs.
It's like the fight's over, Mr. Devlin. Just beginning, Mr. Strake.
Okay, at least this guy is snapping on tempo. The other guy, the hippie that was trying to steal her away, was like, didn't have any rhythm. It was a problem for me. It was a narrow ass door. Maybe it's just tall. Let's see. Nope, it's just narrow. That is a narrow doorway.
Why did you offer me this position? You've never seen me before.
Just now you're going to ask why me? Listen, if I get a spooky letter from out of nowhere that offers a job for me at a house that when I get to the town, everyone says, don't go up there, you're going to hate it. I don't know, man. I'd ask more questions before we got this deep. I wouldn't be unpacking my things, is all I'm saying, before dealing with this issue. Does it matter? Yes, it matters.
No. You'll have to excuse me now.
Nothing suspicious about that. Man, the lighting in the hallways is real good. Honestly, the lighting for the whole show is pretty good. It definitely keeps the creepy vibe. I'm interested to see when they transition to color. This is from like 66, I think. And I mean, I'm fairly certain in 66 other shows were already in color. I may be wrong on that. I do know. Well, I don't know. Sorry to say, I remember my dad saying it was a big deal when they shifted to color TV, but I don't think I do remember him telling me a story about that. I remember him telling me a story about when the first television showed up in his neighborhood. Oh, I missed it. What'd she say? Sorry, I had to back it up. Big shot. Okay.
What is it, baby? What is it?
Yeah, lots wrong. I'm trapped in this prison. Okay, so we know that Mama has not left the house in like 18 years or something. I think that they said in the previous episode. Maybe about the same age as, maybe about the same time that this daughter's been alive.
Oh, Mother, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of trying.
So tired of trying. So tired of trying what? Trying to fit in? Trying to have a life outside of this house? Trying to connect with some actual human beings? Trying to smash the patriarchy? I wonder. Other ways to find some brightness, huh? Bring a man into the house?
When I was 10 years old, I used to dream that a white knight would come along and rescue me from this dungeon.
See, that's what she's looking for, Mama. She wants to get out.
Joe loves you.
And I like him, but he's not a white knight, Mother.
No. First of all, he's shaky over something. I don't know what his deal was there at the table. I mean, I guess maybe her. Maybe he's just worried about she's such a pretty girl. You know, the hoodlums in town are going to steal her off me.
We can't always get everything we want.
You can't always get what you want. If you try sometimes, you just might get what you need.
Please stop trying to marry me off. Okay?
She's a nice girl, Carol, and you'll like her very much.
All right. I wonder if Mama brought her in for the daughter for some reason. Well, I'm very intrigued by the mystery of why. All right. So our big shot is over the fireplace. That's Mr. Collins something. Who's this fella?
Boo!
Boy, there's some good ADR. It's the clearest dialogue in the whole show so far, I think. Man, they shot this through the Vaseline camera. Genuinely, probably what happened is this was not filmed. I bet this was not shot on film. I bet it was shot on tape. That was the big deal with I Love Lucy, is that she held out, made a big deal. They had to pay for it, I think, themselves, she and Desi, but they shot it on film, which is why it's been preserved and it's been able to be restored so many times since then, and still looks great. Whereas this looks like they shot it to the Vaseline camera. There's Roger.
It wouldn't be the first, you know.
You're Roger Collins, aren't you?
Correct. Brother of Elizabeth, father of David. I hope you won't be too lonely here.
If I am, I'll blame it on you.
Me?
Mrs. Stoddard said you were the one that arranged for me to come here.
Oh, you don't say.
It's true, isn't it?
If Elizabeth says so, then...
Way to play your sister's... Man, you're supposed to play along better than that, but it's a yes and situation when you're improvising, Roger.
then it must be true.
Well, I didn't
Do
exactly...
you know that on a cloudless day, you can see 20 miles out to sea? As a boy, I used to bring a picnic lunch out here and dream for hours.
Maybe I can do the same with your son.
With David?
Doesn't he like picnics?
But if you intend to follow that plan, do yourself a favor. Stay away from the edge.
All right. So he's saying David's going to push her off the cliff. Is that the idea there?
What did you say?
Mr. Collins, please.
Did you say Devlin?
Yes?
Burke Devlin?
Yes?
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
I remember him from Lethal Weapon and the Golden Girls. Probably not. Roger probably doesn't remember him from the Golden Girls. Oh, they got 3 shots of those waves and they're getting them in, baby. We talked earlier about how they didn't reuse her knocking at the front door. They just put her back in the foyer. But there you go. So they do have some shots they're going to recycle like that. Just like we're going to see the blue whale quite often. I think we're probably going to see those same waves. You can't go from diegetic music right back to the intense, spooky. God, this set is really good, man. You know, Ashley and I, with the Articulate Coven podcast, have talked a lot about the Mayfair Witch show on AMC. There you go. 2nd episode already down. Man, I love these little bite-sized 20-minute episodes. It's fantastic. We have talked about Mayfair Witches and how the set, the house, is like the best thing about it. And genuinely, I do think the set here is pretty cool. One of the things with soap opera is, and we joked about it with the Blue Whale, but it's true, you're going to have 3 or 4 maybe that they're going to use, and they're going to go from one to the other to from one to the other, and that's where everything's going to take place. These are interesting sets, at least. This foyer here and the main room are pretty interesting for the house. All right, I'm digging this thing. We'll be back next week with another episode of Dark Shadows, the original series. And we'll get to those other cast members that I mentioned. I'm guessing we're going to see the hotel clerk again. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain I know we are because he's in multiple episodes I saw on IMDb. I don't know that we're going to get to Mrs. Hopewell again, so I'll talk about her right here real quick as we're wrapping up this episode. Mrs. Hopewell, we see in the flashback from Victoria as she's talking to the woman that runs the foundling home or the orphanage. Miss Hopewell is that person. I recognized her. I said, yeah, okay, who is that one? I looked her up. Elizabeth Wilson is the actor's name, and I know her best personally as Roz, the brown-nosing assistant to Dabney Coleman's boss in 9 to 5. So, if you watched last episode and you also wondered about Mrs. Hopewell, there you go. She was Roz from 9 to 5. We'll be back next week. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you can watch the next episode already if you go sign up for our Patreon. $2 gets you in the door and gets you access to all of the videos early. $5 allows you to vote on future topics, and $10 lets you suggest future topics. Speaking of, we've got Midnight Mass coming up with a series. It's a 7-episode series, so we're going to be covering that for 7 episodes after our next episode or our final episode, I should say, of TVL, as we cover the epilogue for The Vampire Lestat. We just did an episode on Only Lovers Left Alive, the Jim Jarmusch film, so you should go check that out. And then what else we have? Oh, after that, we're going to go into Blood and Gold with, it's the book about the vampire Mirius from the Vampire Chronicles. And in between those book club episodes, we'll do movie nights. We're going to do 4 movie nights from Halloween to New Year's. And if you're a $5 patron, you can vote on the topics. And if you're a $10 patron, you can suggest the topics. So go check those out. We'll be back soon with more. It's Joel from the Articulate Coven.
This video and all of our videos are made possible by our patrons, including makers Gabby Necklin, Jennifer Morgan, Mindy Raftery, Brat Prince Bran, Child of the Millennia Madam Mayor, and Queen of the Damned herself, Nancy Ward. Thank you for your support.